Lexi community. I'm Lexi Rios, Marketing Manager for the Latinx Education Collaborative. Today I have Salvador Montanez. He has been nominated for Latinx Educator of the Year. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. I'm so excited to talk to you, to learn a little bit more about you, talk about your nomination. Can you share with us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing right now?
Well, my name is Salvador Montanez. I'm Mr. Montanez in the classroom, and I've been teaching for 4 years now. I'm a first grade teacher. I A little bit about myself is I'm from Mexico. I moved to the United States in 2011, so it's been quite a while now. And then I decided to go into education, and here I am.
Yay. Where did you what school are you at right now?
I'm in the Guadalupe Center.
Okay, awesome. Great. So how do you feel about your nomination?
I First of all, I it's very exciting. It's an honor because I was when I got that email, I was like, oh, okay, thank you to whoever whoever did it, and it shows because as an education myself, I feel like it's very hard to like give myself credit or think that I'm doing good. I'm always like, oh, if I do something good, I can always on the back of my mind, I'm always thinking, oh, that could be better. I can change something to like make it easier, make it better for the kids, or do something. So to whoever nominated me, thank you. It shows that like I'm making a difference in a way, which that's what I'm here for.
Absolutely. And other people see that, right? Like, I want to read you some of your nominations, some things that people mentioned that I think stick out. Says Salvador shows great support to his students. He is so dedicated to help his students. I see him leaving to work every morning with a great smile. I think that just gave it away, didn't it? He does not hesitate to support his students in any way. He goes above and beyond, such as calling families outside of school hours when they need help, take snacks to the students who miss breakfast because they arrive late. Um, his dedication is admirable, and for that, I am nominating him. Um, there's another piece that said he is always making sure his students know that even with the language barrier, that they can become who they want. They say that you don't hesitate to help, specifically when it comes to your students. So those are just a few things for your nomination. I know. I should
That
probably,
is
yeah.
that is beautiful, and I love that. To whoever said those words, thank you. And I agree because as an immigrant myself, I don't know if you are familiar with the Guadalupe Center. It's mostly Hispanics, and I would say we have a big population of ESL kids. So students who are coming from different parts of the Hispanic community. We have people from Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, Mexico, and they come in here with and I see myself in them because when I came to the United States, I didn't know anyone. I didn't know the language, and it was very hard. And that is actually one of the things that pushed me into being a teacher. Having two of my main teachers always being in there for me, I was like, I want to find a way to go back and give back to the community. I want to be someone who other kids, if they struggle, they can come to me and be like, "Hey, I need help. What do I need?" And I know I'm only doing first grade, but I have always think that it starts when they're little, when they have someone who is pushing them and being like, "Hey, tú puedes hacerlo." We were talking about space the other day, and I was like, no one has been in the moon in so many years, but if you guys want to, you can be on the moon. Just stay in school, um,
Mhm.
learn science, math, and be consistent. And one day, and I told them, I was like, I will be very happy if I'm looking at the news and I get a call from someone and be like, one of Mr. Montanez's students is on the moon right now. And they were so, they're like, oh, teacher, that's crazy, things like that. But I'm like, it can happen. And I think that's what the kids need, someone to be there, not just as a family member, but someone outside of their family to be like, hey, yeah, you can do it. And I would say I've been just like going back to those nominations. I'm someone that will keep bugging my families. I'm like, don't forget to do this, don't forget to do that. And if you need help, if you need this, if you need that, I check with them every morning. I'm like, oh, did you eat breakfast? How's everything doing? And I know they have a big support at home, where I'm like, they spend 8 hours, 5 days a week in here with me. So I'm like, I want to be the support that they need. So I'm very
Yeah,
happy when is saying those things about me.
absolutely. I think it just says that, like, you know, yes, you are doing those things, and like you said, it's kinda hard to give credit to ourselves when it's what
Mm-hmm.
we want to do, it just comes naturally to us, but obviously people see it and they want you to be recognized for it, and I like that you said it starts little because that's so true, sometimes you just need somebody to, like, light the fire for you to really
Mm-hmm.
feel like you can do something, and it really does, like, when you're little and you imagine things, like, sometimes you don't even know what barriers are gonna come, but if they have that voice already of someone believing in them, like,
Hmm.
it really matters. I'm glad that they have you. That's awesome.
Yes. No.
Um,
And I'm telling you, I'm someone that will like check on them every morning. And I'm like, how are you doing? If they like something, I like to like push it a little bit on them. I'm like, oh, you like math? Great. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's do this. Let's do that. So I think
right.
they can, hopefully they can count. They know they can count on me
Yeah.
to whatever they need.
Yeah. I mean, when somebody sees you personally, right? Like you're saying like it's not just the whole class, right? Like, oh, how's everybody doing? You're seeing your students for who they are, and I'm sure that matters, especially
Yes.
when you're little. Like you feel like adults don't even see you, right? Like they're so like tall and like they don't even look you in the eye sometimes, but
Hmm.
mhm.
So we're
Yeah.
here to make a little difference.
Yes, absolutely. So why does I heard you talk about it a little bit, but why does representation matter?
Well, just going back to when I was in high school, because I didn't go to elementary school or middle school in here in the United States. So just in high school, I didn't see there was not a lot of Latino teachers. So and me being an English learning, it was always a little bit hard to like go with another teacher that I was like, I don't know if I will fully communicate with them. So I think representation is very important to have someone that look like you, someone who sounds like you, someone that will probably know what you're talking about. And I know that because I have kids in here coming talking about Selena. I have a little girl. She was singing como la flor, and she stopped singing, and I kept the song going, and she was like, "Do you know that song?" And I was like, "Are you kidding me? I grew up listening to Selena." I was like, "Yes, I know that song." And then she was like, "Do you know who died?" And like all these things. I'm like, "Yes, I know these things." I have kids talking about El Chavo del Ocho, which I'm like, I know that's been a while now. They probably watch the cartoon one, but I'm like, yes, I know who the Chavo del Ocho is. So just helping the students just create their own identity and being like, hey, we have to speak the language, but we look the same. So, and I think it's very important to have representation in the classroom. That way, families also feel confident to reaching out. You don't want to have parents being like, hey, I don't want to like reach out to this teacher. and feel like there is something might get on the way. Just being open, and I think that's how we understand each other and how we understand ourselves.
Yeah,
Which
absolutely.
I always like to connect these things to like what we're learning. A few weeks ago, we were talking about the Mayas and the Incas and the Aztecs in Mexico, and I always get so happy when they're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm from Mexico and I have seen these things." And I see this on the news, and my mom was telling me about it. I had someone come into the classroom, and they were like, "I told my mom that we used to be rich. We have so much gold in Mexico." And I'm like, "Yes, yes, we did." So just like
Mhm.
making all these little connections with each other, and I can see those things happening in the classroom. It makes me not other than happy, because I'm like, "Yes, yes, you can see these things. You're making connections." Yes, so I think it's very important to have that representation in, not just in the classroom but everywhere, so you can have someone that you can look up to them.
Yes, absolutely. I love that because it's representation, like you said, like hearing and being able to speak and all that, like culturally, being able
Mhm.
to connect with somebody like automatically opens you up, especially as a kid, right? Like it opens all the doors. And like you said, for parents too, like that, I'm sure that makes them more comfortable to like the barriers don't feel as real when you come in and like somebody's gonna understand. That's so
Just
important.
know they can, whatever they need, they can like reach me in their language, because technology is amazing with like those little things, so like translating little things. But as Hispanics, we have like, sometimes we use smart words like say "por qué." We have the X and the Q, and doesn't translate very well on the app. But I'm like, oh, they're asking me "por qué," why, "por qué" this, and it's just I think language is a very big piece. Just connecting with everyone, because I have my kids. Sometimes I would say, "Hey, mijo, ven para acá," or "Hey, mija, ven para acá." They're like, "Mijo, mija,"
Mm.
and it's just very funny, like seeing those little reactions. So I think it's very nice. It's amazing.
Yeah, that definitely it's not a small thing, right? It matters. It's pretty
And it,
huge.
and it seems small, but I think it makes a really big difference. Being like, hey, you can communicate with me to invite you parent teacher conferences. We have that special connection of like the language. I'm like, pásale señora, ¿en qué le puedo ayudar? ¿En qué necesita ayuda? ¿Qué está pasando? Things like that. And I think that it helps them like open, instead of being like, oh, I don't have any questions or this or that. So I think it's it's a very big leap.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. So kind of in the same sort of the same bucket here, how can we build the right conditions for the advancement of Latinx youth?
I think just having someone um, being talking to those young kids out there, and making them believe that they can actually do whatever they want. Being like, oh, you wanna go into this? Sure. Here are some resources that you can use to help you get there. Just like reaching out to them, because I would say I'm a first generation. When I graduated from high school, it was very hard being like, oh, I want to go to college, but like I don't know what the steps are. Um, where do I start? Do I go to the school? Do I go to this other school? What is everyone saying? Because you have people that obviously have that experience before from their parents, and they're like, oh, my dorm is ready, and I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna do that. But I was like, my mom and my dad didn't go to college. But what do I do? Who do I who do I ask for help? So just having creating that community when like young people feel confident into going in and being like, hey, I'm about to graduate. Where do I start? How can I get some help? So just offering those resources will be very nice. And also just helping those kids create their own voice, or having someone to be the voice for them. I think that will be very helpful for them.
Absolutely. That that's something that I've heard um very often is that step from high school to college. Like
Mhm.
there's a gap there. Like not everybody has
Yes.
generations to lean on or people with the same background or the same opportunities. There's financial barriers and things that you have to do that it's a whole different world and you're still a kid at that age, so you
But at the
need.
point ready to like go into life without knowing what steps to take. Because
Mhm.
I got out and I was like, oh, like, does that scholarship applies to me? Can I do this? Can I do that? Where is the deadline? Where can I go? So just like having someone that you can build that trust and like helping each other, I think it will be very beneficial to support our young Latinos out there.
Yes, absolutely. I love that, so important. So my last question to you as we wrap up here soon, what keeps you going?
What keeps me going? I would say, if I can like break this part on like different parts, I would say mostly the kids, because I think it's like every time it happens, it amazes me when I'm like, oh, when I'm explaining something and it clicks, and they're like, oh, yes, and this and this and this and this and this. I'm like, yes. So just like seeing them grow as students, it has like a little spark that like makes me want to keep going. When I see kids believe in themselves, when I'm in my classroom, we are working on math, and I've been working with this kid for a few weeks now, and he got it, and I was like, I'm so proud of you. And he when he went around in the classroom, he was like, did you guys hear that? The teacher said that he was really proud of me. And I was like, I'm sure your parents are proud of you. And he was like, the next day he was like, my mom did say that I was proud of me, because I text mom and I was like, hey, we've been working on this. If you can have some nice words with him. And guess what? He go home. He heard that from mom. He's motivated. He comes back to school and he's feeling motivated, and he wants to like keep learning and keep doing all these little things. And I'm like, that's how we make a difference, when we make little kids believe in themselves. So I would say kids is probably the biggest part that keeps me going, and also just having a community who I know cares for me, and someone that people that I can trust. I know LEC is very good with those things. I know you guys do very um, huge things for the community, for the teachers, for parents. I know you guys support, and that's what we need. We need someone not just inside of a school, but someone outside of a school, who we can feel supported, and we can feel like we can go to other people and talk about our issues. Because at the end of the day, I know there is a saying in education that is like, you need your bucket to be full so you can fill other people. And I think that's what we need. Sometimes we need to be able to express our opinions and express if we have any concerns. Sometimes we just want someone who can listen to us. So all these little things, so they can actually like make us keep going. Have some Having someone who can be like, hey, you're making a difference, you're doing good, you're doing great. Because like I said, I'm gonna go back to what I said before. I know sometimes I do good, but it's hard for to believe myself, because I'm like, it can always be better. I can change these things. So just having someone being like, oh, you're doing great, you're doing this, you're doing that. I think that's what keeps me going.
Yeah, that makes sense, that's awesome. I love it. The spark really
Mhm.
got me. That's awesome.
Like I said, I've been teaching for 4 years, and anytime I see that little click happening and I see them being happy with something that they did, I'm like, yes, you did it. You are, because I told them they're in charge of the old learning, so they're like, "Yes, I did it." I'm like, "Yes, you did it." And I go back to those moments sometimes. I'm like, "Do you remember how you when you did this? Do you remember when you did that?" So now we're facing this new challenge, and you can do it again. So
Mm,
and
yeah.
I get home and or I talk to my coworkers and I'm like, oh, guess what? Guess what happened? This kid was doing this and that, and that makes me happy.
Mm, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing. It's been awesome getting to know you. I'm sure everyone else is enjoying this as well. LEC community, Salvador Montanez,
Thank
um, congratulations. Thank you for being here today.
thank you.
Anything else you want to share?
I would say if there's any young kids out there listening to this, just you're not alone. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And I know, I mean, I work with first grade, but if you want to reach out to anyone, if you guys need some help, I mean, I would be happy to help. And I know LDC is always involved in the community, so we're here to help.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much. It's
Yeah.
been so nice talking to you. Until next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was like us in the place. We're sitting there like in the arena in Las Vegas. Like,
When I started this LEC community,